Hey guys, what's going on? It's your boy Bowser Jr. Fan 13, and I got something to confess to you guys. Well, it's not really much of a big deal, but it's a little quite obvious if you clicked on the video, but I love BlazBlue. But I also love Persona 4 Arena, and Guilty Gear, and Under Night In-Birth, and DNF Duel, and Dragon Ball Fight. Okay. Basically, I love all fighting games made by Arc System Works, but I also love Capcom games. Street Fighter, Mega Man, Darkstalkers, Resident Evil, Devil May Cry, and of course this one particular franchise that has got me invested into wanting to play more of this game, Rival Schools. Yeah, so Rival Schools is, I already basically explained it. It's about a game where students from all across different schools go and beat each other up and all that stuff. You already know that idea. I've talked about it in a previous video saying that I wanted to make a spiritual successor to Rival Schools because it's just really that good. I wanted to play one of the games for myself, and if you're looking on the video, you can clearly see that I am playing Rival Schools on a Dreamcast emulator. Well, this is the sequel Project Justice, but I digress. Anyways, so yeah, I discussed it that I wanted to make a spiritual successor to Rival Schools, and I discussed this with my friends, both in real life and in Discord, and basically, I shared with them my ideas and told them all these cool concepts and stuff that I wanted to try out, and they thought it was a pretty cool idea. So, here's the rundown. I also wanted to have Rival Schools return because, man, we have not got a single decent Rival Schools game in like decades, and ever since Akira Kazama has ever appeared like in Street Fighter V, a lot of us wanted a brand new Rival Schools game because we were reminded of the glory days of Capcom. So basically, you're also kind of wondering, how did I come up with the idea for my spiritual successor to Rival Schools? Simple. I was going over to Capcom HQ, and yes, this is a true story. I'm not making this up. I swear to God, I promise I'm not making this up. I promise you this. Okay. Alright, listen. So I went to Capcom US headquarters, and basically I talked with the CEO and did a PowerPoint presentation on how to make good fighting games, and basically not screw over Street Fighter 6 is what I'm trying to also say to him. So after showing him everything and asking him politely if we could have a brand new Rival Schools, my friends were there too. They enjoyed the presentation. But how did the CEO respond to me? Well...
What? Have you taken leave of your senses? I didn't get where I am today by giving handouts to every Tom, Dick, and what's-his-name who walks through that door!
Then next thing you know, he called security and threw me out. So then I was like, this isn't over! You haven't heard the last of me! And he was like, oh yeah? What are you gonna do? Make your own franchise? Go to Arc System Works and ask them to make a spiritual successor? I'd like to see you try. And that's exactly what I did. I went over to Arc System Works and spoke with the CEO and the developers and asked them if they can make my game. And this is how they respond. They said, son, you're a genius. When do you want to start development?
Oh yeah, welcome. Have a lucky day.
Well, he certainly showed me.
But anyways, I should actually reveal what the project is called. The project of this game is going to be called Smackback University. Okay, I know that doesn't sound like a pretty epic name, but Smackback University is close enough. I mean, hey, when you come up with big names like Rival Schools, Beautiful Joe, Okami, and all that stuff, you gotta have like the big brains to do all that. And sure, my brain may not be that big, but I'm not stupid, okay? Well, look, my point is that this game, Smackback University, is a spiritual successor to Rival Schools, where it's about a group of students, well, beating each other up, but here's the catch. It's not in a high school, but rather in a college, hence the word university in the title. But Anyways, these fighters are completely different from what you expect. So, how different are they, and what's the plot of the story? Well, I'm glad you asked. So sit back, relax, and let me tell you the things that go on in the world of Smackback University.
YouTube Gaming Productions proudly presents.
In association with Arc System Works,
So this is what Smackback University is all about. In this world, there lives two different races, the humans and this type of race known as the special ones. Special ones are basically humans, but with altered advanced DNA that basically gives them superpowers. Basically, think of them like the X-Men from the Marvel Comics, or the heroes with quirks from My Hero Academia, or the Gears from Guilty Gear, and I think you basically get the idea of what I'm saying, right? So, a long time ago, these two races were at war because of them being so different, but the war eventually stopped. They were both at peace, and in order to fix the situation between the two races, they decided to make a school for both humans and special ones known as Smackback University. And then, after the school was opened, it seems like it turns out everything worked out. So, the school basically provides education for both races, and of course, there's also a tournament. And every once a year in this school, there's a tournament being held for the special ones and humans, like, well, only if they're strong enough. But anyways, these special ones, because they have powers, are able to compete in these tournaments to see who is the strongest and who is the champion, or basically just to see like who's really strong. And not only that, this is also to test their skills and see if they're ready for the outside world or something like that. But look, the point is that there's a tournament being held at this school, and that's all you gotta know. But anyways, who is going to be the main characters, you may ask? Well, alright. Let me introduce you to your main characters, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, so this here is our main protagonist of the story, Izamu Bascara. He is the equivalent of Batsu. Alright, so he has the power to control fire and has a sword known as the Burning Muramasa. This is his first year attending Smackback University, and he starts to make a couple of friends and get used to the whole thing. But he also wants to compete in the tournament to test his skills. However, he also hears some type of weird rumors that is a little bit suspicious about the tournament and the school, so he wants to find out what really is happening with this here tournament and what seems to be going on, and to see if these rumors are true or not. Alright, oh, and also his design, of course, is based off of Ryu, Soul Bad Guy, and Yu Narukami. Then you got the second main character, the Deuteragonist, Kazuya Kisaragi, who is basically this game's equivalent of Kyosuke. Alright, so he has the power to control ice, and he controls a sword known as the Frost Stinger. Alright, he's the sophomore of the school, and he's basically one of those normal, chill, upbeat, confident students who just wants to have a good time and make sure everyone is having a swell time. Alright. He is Izamu's best friend and rival. Oftentimes, they would get into fights with each other to see who's the strongest and like to test each other's strength. Kind of like the bonds with Ryu and Ken. Oh, and speaking of, since Kazuya is Izamu's rival and best friend, He's also kind of based off of Kai, Jin, and Yosuke. I mean, some of these characters might not make sense because, well, I think you get the idea. And then, of course, we have our tritagonist, the third main character of the story, and of course the first female character in the game, Kyo Narukami, who is this game's equivalent to Hinata. Alright, so with her story, she's also a student who's starting her first year at this school and wants to compete in this tournament. However, what you need to know about her is that she is the younger stepbrother of Kazuya. Her origin story is basically that she lost her mother at a very young age, and Kazuya's family basically adopted her and trained her to use her powers, and basically raised her, and Kazuya and Kyo get along just fine, and she becomes good friends with Izamu too. Oftentimes when Izamu and Kazuya would get into fights, like unintentionally or when they go a little too far, she sometimes butt in and stops them from going too far, or basically just calm them down or be there for them. Kind of like how most female characters would usually be there for the main characters. Also, she's based off of Anita, Noelle, Celica, and Dizzy. Alright, so you could obviously tell by the design and stuff. Alright, but that's it for the main characters. Like, there are more characters in this game. Like, there's a total of 20 playable characters. Well, 18 on the base roster, and only 2 of them are hidden unlockable characters, which you can only unlock by beating the story mode. But I'm not going to reveal those characters, because you'll have to wait and see who they are. Right now, I'm also going to get into the gameplay. So, the gameplay is basically simple, just like your Blaze Blue and Guilty Gear style gameplay, where, you know, like, the whole... You already know how fighting games work, like, but the mechanics, like, in terms of, like, Blaze Blue and Guilty Gear, there's super moves, like the super meter that builds up and to do your super attacks and all that stuff. But there's also the cinematic insta-kills, which are called overdrive finishes, where characters will do a very powerful cinematic attack. But in order to do this overdrive finish, not only will you need to lower your opponent at like very low health, and not only does your super meter needs to be filled 100%, you also need to activate Overdrive Mode. So what is Overdrive Mode? Overdrive Mode is basically like the transformations or the boost up mechanics that basically, like, think of it kind of like Dante's Devil Trigger and Marvel vs. Capcom, or Soul Bad Guys Dragon Install and the other Guilty Gear games. Or think of it like using the Blaze Blue Ars Magus type of boost up or overdrive thing from Blaze Blue Central Fiction. I think you pretty much get the idea of what I'm trying to say. But only this time, like, unlike those things, and it's also kind of based off of the V triggers from Street Fighter V, but unlike those, these characters have actual transformations. Like you're not just, they're not glowing, or they're not just, flashing different colors just for that. No. These are like actual design-changing transformations. Like, here are some of the transformations for the characters, just to give a little demonstration. This is Izamu's transformation. Basically, he of course takes off his jacket, and he is engulfed in flames, and his hair is also bright, like basically symbolizing that it's in extreme heat, like he's really on fire. Like, doesn't that look cool? And then, of course, Kazuya, he's wearing some type of ice armor resembling a knight, which is honestly pretty cool. And for Kyo, she's dressed up in a bunny rabbit suit, because it's supposed to resemble her cuteness. But why a bunny rabbit suit? Well, of course, if you paid attention to her design, if you saw the bunny rabbit plush inside her hand, basically, this bunny rabbit also has the power to, come to life and fight alongside her, basically making her the puppet character of the game. Plus, she also has the power to control electricity. I kind of forgot to mention that. But anyways, I think that's it for gameplay so far. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. I just talked about the gameplay, the story, and your main characters. Honestly, I'm proud of making some of these characters like Izamu, Kazuya, and Kyo. I think they'll be like perfect main characters. They're also the poster children, because of course they're gonna be on the front cover of the games, and of course they'll also be in a lot of merchandise. But anyways, these three, when I think of them as main characters, they're basically obviously Batsu, Kyosuke, and Hinata. They're also the Ryu, Ken, and Chun-Li, Terry, Andy, and Mai, Ragna, Jin, and Noelle, Sol, Kai, and Dizzy, Naruto, Sasuke, and Sakura. You basically get the idea. They're protagonist trio. That's what they are. But I think that's all I have to say. But I know what you're also going to ask. The whole mystery, mystery and rumor stuff, what's that about? Well, apparently, what I also wanted to mention in the story mode is that there are rumors saying that students are going missing attending this school. So the three main characters are trying to solve this mystery and find out what's going on. But they're also going to be receiving help from a few other characters who I might or might not review until much, much later. But until then, you're going to have to wait for that. So anyways, basically this type of concept and idea, of course, you can tell I've got it off of the Persona series, because the Persona series is mostly about these characters going around solving mysteries and doing all this type of crazy stuff. You get the whole idea. But alright, that's all I have to say. Let me know what you guys think about this idea. Do you support it or not? If you don't support it, that's okay. I mean, hey, beggars can't be choosers, and we all can't be winners, am I right? But, alright, like, comment, share, and subscribe, and I will see you all in the next video. Peace out, everyone.